Hello everyone and welcome back to our SAP ABAP Tutorial Series. In today's class, we will start one of the fundamental components of SAP development, and that is ABAP Data Dictionary or DDIC. We can call it as DDIC also. Okay, Data Dictionary or DDIC. DDIC. And the transaction code for ABAP Dictionary is SE11. SE11 is the transaction code where we will create all the database objects related to data dictionary. So what is ABAP Data Dictionary? It is a central repository where all the data definitions used to store. Okay, it is a central repository where all data definitions used in SAP will store. And what are the in simple words, all the database objects. Okay, data dictionary will store all the database objects. So what are the database objects or key components of DDIC or data dictionary? What are the objects? We have database table, we have data element, we have domain. Okay, we have domain, we have views, we have structures, we have table types, we have search help and lock object. What are the objects? Database table, data element, domain, views, structures, table types, search help and lock object. We will see each object thoroughly in later class, and today we will start with database table, data element and domain. So what are the objects in the data dictionary are there? Database table, views, data element, structure, type group, domain, search help, lock object. Okay, so we will start with database table, data element and domain. So what is a database table? What is a database table? Database table is nothing but collection of fields in row and column format. Collection of fields in row and column format. What is a database table? It is a collection of fields in row and column format. For example, this is our database table, and it is a collection of fields. For example, suppose we want to create a database table for our employee. So what are the fields we will create? We will create employee ID, EMP, ID, name, age, salary. Okay, let's start with 4 fields. What are the 4 fields? Employee ID, employee name, age and salary. So we have 4 fields. Okay, so this database table is collection of 4 fields: employee ID, employee name, age and salary. So all the records for our employees will be stored in this table. So what is this? This is a row and column format. These are the columns. Okay, the fields are the columns. These are the columns. Employee ID is a column, employee name is a column, employee age is a column and salary is also a column. And the records will be stored based on our employee details. Suppose employee ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 employees, we have 4 employees. So we have 4 employee ID. So we have 4 records. So these are called records. These are called records. These are columns. These are records or rows. Okay. So database table is a collection of fields in row and column format. Columns are nothing but fields of the database table. Okay. We will create one more slide to explain. So this is our database table, which is collection of 4 fields. Okay, this is employee ID, this is name, this is age and this is salary. So we have 4 fields or 4 columns. These are called columns. And each record is called as a row. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all records and we will call it as rows. Rows and columns. Database table is a collection of fields in a row and column format. So we have fields. Each field have some technical properties. Like suppose employee name. Employee name is a field. So what will be the technical property of this field employee name? The data type and length of the field, right? Data type and length of the field are technical properties. So where we will create this data type and length of the properties, length of the employee name field, where we will create this? We will create it in a domain. Okay, in a domain. So we see database table. We see database table. Now we are going to see domain. So what is a domain? Domain is the technical property of the field. Domain is the technical property of the field. In simple words, domain will hold the data type and length of the field. So what will be the data type and length of the field of name, employee name? The data type would be type C and length will be according to our requirement. So employee name is a field, and for that field the technical properties are data type and length. This data type and length will be stored in our domain. Okay, we covered database, table, and we covered domain. Now what is data element? Data element will hold this domain. Data element will hold this domain. So in simple word, database table fields will be defined by data elements which has the technical properties or the domain. Okay, domain is nothing but the technical properties of the field, and data element will hold this domain. Okay. So what we have seen? So this is our database table. Inside this database table, we have fields. These fields is represented by a data element. Okay, this field is represented by a data element. Inside the data element, we have our domain. Okay, so data element will hold the domain, and domain will hold the data type and length of the field. Data type and length of the field. For example, we took employee name. Okay, we took employee name and the data type is type C and length is suppose 10. So this is our domain. Type is C, length is 10. This is our domain. And this domain will inside the data element. Okay. So we have to create data element and domain for the field. We have to create data element and domain for our field. But in our previous classes, we have seen some programs where we have write some code to declare the data type and length. But in case of ABAP Data Dictionary, where we will create our database objects, we have to create our data element and domain. So let's go back to our SAP Easy Access screen, and we will start with our first object, database table, and second is data element and domain. Third one is domain. We will see database table, data element and domain. So what is the transaction code for SE11 data dictionary? It is SE11. If we go to SE11, we can see different database objects that we can create. So what are the things we can create? We can create database table. We can create views. We can create data type. What are the data type we can create? If we go here, we can create domain and data element with help of data type. Okay, with help of data type, we can create domain and data element. We can create that type group. We can create domain directly here. We can create search help. We can create log object. So we will start with database table. Whatever the customer, whatever the custom object we are going to create, we will start with name Z or Y. So we'll start with Z employee table. Okay, we will create one database table which is custom table because we are creating. Okay, it is not SAP defined table. So we have to start with Z or Y. So we will create our database table with Z. And what is the name of our table? Z employee. So we will select on create. Z employee already exists. If any object is already exist, then we will get the message the G employee already exists. So the database table is already exists. So what we can do here, we can take it as G employee 1. We can create Z employee 1. Okay. So what is the short description? Short description is nothing but the purpose of the database table. Why we are creating this table? Why we are creating this table? For our employee information. Employee information. Okay. Now, after giving our description, we have to select delivery class. So what is a delivery class? What is a delivery class? If we select the field and click on function F1, we can get the overview of this field. Why we want to create this field? How to go to the overview? We have to select the delivery class and select on F1. Select on F1 for overview of this field. The delivery class controls the transport of table data when installing or upgrading. Okay, this is nothing but, in simple words, what type of data it will be stored. What type of data the database will be stored. What is delivery class? What is delivery class? The type of data. Okay, what type of data? What type of data this database table will store. This is our database table. Okay, and what type of data this will be stored. Okay, whether it is master data or whether it is transaction data, what type of data it will store, we can select with help of delivery class. Okay, another topic, delivery class. What is delivery class? The type of data the database table will store. Again, we will go back to our here. If we go to this field, this option, that box option is called search help. Okay, we can select the data based on our search help. If we select on search help, we will see what are the things we can choose. What are the things we can choose? We can choose among these fields. What is A? A means application table. Application table is nothing but master and transaction data. So as of now, we will work on only with application table. Later on, we will see all these tables one by one. Okay, as of now, we will work on application table. So we are going to create an application table. What is an application table? Application table will hold master and transaction data. I already covered what is master and transaction data in our previous class. So what is a master data? Master data is the data which rarely changes. For example, name, employee ID, these are rarely changed. Okay, master and transaction data. So what is transaction data? Transaction data is nothing but day-to-day transaction which changes frequently. Okay, which the data changes frequently are called transaction data. Suppose date, time, these are transaction data, or amount, these are transaction data. What is master data? Master data is the data which rarely changes, and transaction data is which changes frequently. So what is master data? Master data and transaction data is called application table. This is we are going to create application table. Master data changes rarely. Transaction data changes frequently. Okay, master data is name, ID, these are master data. Transaction data is amount, date, time, etc. Okay, so we are going to create one application table which will hold master and transaction data. So we will select A. What we will select? We will select A is our delivery class. So what is delivery class? Delivery class will represent what type of data the database table is containing. Okay, what type of data the in our G employee one is containing? It is containing a type of data, that is application table data, which is master or transaction data. So next option is data browser table view maintenance. So what is this? These have three options: display and maintenance allowed with restrictions. This means we can see the table and we can maintain the table. I mean, we can change the table, but with some restrictions. Next option is display and maintenance allowed. So we can see the table and we can change the table as per our need. And the third option is display and maintenance not allowed. This means we can only display and maintenance is not allowed. It is kind of only view. So we will select display and maintenance allowed. So what is the first step? We will in the first step we created Z employee 1 in SE11 with the database table option. We gave some description. Next we select our delivery class and display maintenance allowed. Okay, this is this delivery class and display maintenance allowed. We selected these two options. Next we will create our fields. What are the fields? So what are the fields we are going to create? We are going to create employee ID. We will see as EMP ID. Okay. First field is employee ID. So what is this option? It's a key field. Key field is nothing but a primary key field. Key is nothing but a primary key. So what is a key field here? What is key field here? Primary key. Primary key is nothing but it is unique. Unique. Primary key is nothing but unique. So employee ID is a primary key. So it is unique field. Every employee ID we are going to create, that should be unique. That means each employee ID we are going to create is unique. So what is primary key? Primary key is nothing but this field value should be unique. Employee ID value should be unique for all the employees we are going to enter. Okay. And what is initial? Initial means it has some value. Okay, it has some value. It cannot be blank. What if we tick the box? This means this field cannot be blank. If we tick this and what is this? This is primary key. So it means it should be unique. And if we tick this, it should be has some value. It has some value. It cannot be blank. Now we created our field employee ID. We created it as a primary key and initial value. Okay. Now we have to create the data element to store the technical properties of the employee ID field. We already created this field. So employee ID is a field. It has some technical properties like data type and length. So we have to create data element to store the technical properties. So what we will give the data element? Any object we are going to create, that should be start with Z EMP ID. Okay, if I click enter, it already has created the type character and length 7. So we will give some another name GMPID 1. Okay, it is already it has also created. So we will see ZID. Okay. 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 It is also already created. We can give as GEMP ID 5. Enter. Okay. Is not active. You can see GMP ID 5 is not active. So this means the data element is not created. We will double click on this data element to create the data element. Okay. Click on yes. We will save it as a local object. We will save it as local object to create this data element. So what is the data element? GMP ID 5. What should be the purpose? Data element for employee ID is the data short description. Inside the data element, we have to create the domain to store our data type and length. Domain will contains the data type and length, and data element will contain this domain, okay, as a technical property. So we will give the same name for our domain, GMPID 5, and we will enter. So this is not active, so we have to create the domain. How we will create? Again, we have to double click on the data element. Yes, save it as a local object. Yes, create domain. Domain for employee ID. Okay, domain for employee ID. What is the data type? Data type is character. We will see the search help. What are the type of data we can choose? We have this much of values, so we will choose character string. Okay, CHAR is the type of data. Number of characters, employee IDs I will choose as 4. Okay, 4, and we will go to value range then. No need for value range because it is employee ID. We have to give only. So we'll again go to definition. So now we have to save the domain. We have to save the domain. We have to activate the domain. Okay, we activate the domain. Now we will go back. We can see our data element is containing the domain GMPID 5 with data type char and length is 4. So what is data element? Data element will contains the technical properties of the field. Okay, in short word, data element will contains this domain. Domain is nothing but the type of data and length it will store. Okay, so again we have to save the data element. We have to activate the data element. So we have created our domain and we have created our data element. So we completed these two topics, domain and data element, how to create the data element, how to create the domain, and what is data element and what is domain. If you have any query regarding data element and domain, you can comment below this video. Now we have created the data element and domain for our field, and we have activated the data element and domain. Now we will go back. We already created one field which is a Z employee ID, which is our employee ID. We created employee ID with data element ZEMPID 5 and domain also ZEMPID 5, which is containing char type data and length is 4. Now we will create one more field which is EMP name, employee name. Employee name cannot be unique. In a company, there are multiple people with same name, but in company, the employee ID is unique. So we have selected the key field and initial value field. But employee name cannot be unique. It can be duplicated. Okay. So we will create employee name. What will be the data element? ZEMP name 5. Okay, ZEMP name 5. The data element is not created. We will create the Z employee name 5 data element. Yes, yes, create yes. Okay, data element for employee name. We are going to create data element for our second field, ZEMP name 5. So what is the domain? We'll give the same GEMP name 5. We'll double click on that. We'll create the domain. Yes. Save as a local object. Create the domain. Employee name. Okay. What is the data type? Char type data. Length we will give as 15. Okay. Length we will give as 15. We will save as local object. We will activate. Okay. We activated the domain. We will go back. Our data element contains the domain of char data type and length 15. Again, we will activate the data element. Okay. Again, we will go back. We have created data element and domain for our employee name. So we have successfully created our two fields. Data element we have created domain, and we have created our first database table Z employee 1. Okay. In the next class, we will create two or three more fields for our database table, and we will start our entry to the database table. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe the video.